consider. And I would like, I haven't been a city employee myself from 1970 until 87. I know how important it is to get your cost of living ready. And I would like, I worked with the city of Dallas from 1970 until 79 in the Public Works Department and Inspection Department. And I worked with the city of Darwin from 1980 to 87, again, in building inspection, public works. I would like for us to just really check it out real close and see if we can find some way to get the city employees and our consultants, like our city attorney and our city engineer, people like that, our accountant, some way we could get them something in the way of a cost of living. They're really our best. Even though I don't live in the city, I live in ETJ, but I come here and get mail and go to school meetings, shop. It is so important in this economy that if we can figure out some way to get something, if we could use the zero budget technique or something to find something that we're spending the money on, that we could zero budget that and get all of them some sort of maybe like 1% or something at least cost of it. Thank you very much.
Good. Anyone else? Speak to the budget. Chief, do you have anything you would like to mention?
No, I think we covered quite a bit of information in our budget workshops, and we do a zero-based budget every year. We justify each department from a zero base and go through the budget in a way. So I appreciate your recommendation on that. But the budget, has been approved by city staff and as presented to council in the budget workshops.
Any council member have anything they'd like to?
Full force.
On that one.
2-3 minutes. Mine says 6:42, so you're another 3 minutes.
We're not going to put an order in. You get my text?
You get my email?
No.
Mostly?
All right.
One last call for anybody that wants to have any public say on the proposed budget for the fiscal year 2017. If not, I'm gonna call this public hearing at 6:45. And then I'm gonna open public hearing on the tax year 2016 proposed tax rate. Anybody have anything they'd like to say about the proposed tax rate? And just for everybody to know, the proposed tax rate is to stay exactly the same as it was last year. There'll be no raise in the tax rate. Now, the county tax assessor sets the value. You can raise or lower your property value based on what they believe to be the current value of your home, your business, etc. But all we can do is the tax rate, and so we're proposing to leave it exactly the same as it was last year. Anybody have any comments?
Mayor, did the average value of a home go down in the city limits of Venus?
Huh?
There was an increase in the average value of homes in the city limits.
Okay, can you tell me what it was last year and what it went to?
It went to 5.64, I believe the average increase was 5.64%
No, I mean,
this year.
the average value for
Valuation.
single home, for single family home.
I can look for that, Harrison.
Okay. And there will be an additional revenue, but part of that is the increase in value of of homes, and also additional homes being brought onto the tax roll, businesses, etc. So it's not all just an increased value. There will be additional revenue brought in, but that will help offset the growth in the need of additional employees, additional equipment, additional road material, and just all different kinds of materials such as pipe. The more homes, more buildings we have, the more there is for upkeep. So we have to stay up with the growth. This will be the third year in a row that we haven't raised the property tax rate. As a matter of fact, last year we was able to drop it a few cents per $100 value. So I've been real proud of the council and the city staff that over the last 3 years we haven't had an increase at all. And we've been real lucky because part of it is due to the economy. When the economy was really bad, the property values went way down, and the only way we could just even maintain what we had was to raise.
Chief, that should be in the information you got from Central Appraisal District.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. I have it right here. I'm trying to figure out which number you're asking for. Yeah, because they have as a total amount, Mr. Russell, so I'm not sure.
So they didn't break it down per average per
Right.
one home, it's just the total amount.
Yeah, the adjusted taxable value for all of our city property in 2015 was right around 115 million. For this year, it's 128,641,000.
Okay.
Austin, do you have anything on the tax rate? Oh, okay. I'm just trying to fill some time, but thank you.
About 3 years, we kept the taxes the same.
Gotta let the mayor, this will be my third year of budget, and we kept it the same as Rob did. The first year, we kept it the same, last year, we went down about 2.5 cents, and this year, we keep it the same. It's been 4 years ago since we raised it. And I remember the time I was on the city council, some years we raised it just like half a cent. Some years we raised it, 1 or 2 cents. That one year we had a crowd in here, it went up like 90 cents.
Oh, yeah.
Because the property values, that was like 2008, property values went way down. Just make the same money, bring the same amount in there to the I think me and you go stick with, get past it. Well, I thought that was too much, even if we had to cut something in the city, that was just way too much. For just 1 year, but, so I think we'll take credit for all that, 'cause a lot of it, the council and the whole lot of it was the economy. It's really helped out when you have a good, strong economy, and your property values are staying the same or going up, and plus when the economy's good, you got growth, and that helps bring in more property to be taxed, so that helps out too.
And I think that the department head did a fantastic job
Oh, yeah.
focusing.
Focusing and keeping the budget really tight as far as just needs instead of a lot of wants.
Yeah.
Well, since there's no further comments on the, property tax rate, I'm gonna call this, public hearing at 6:55. And we're gonna have a short 5-minute, 4B board meeting.
We'll start at 4B at 7.
Oh, 7, okay, so we're gonna take a 5-minute break then. And we'll start the 4B for the Venus Community Service Development Corporation meeting at straight up 7 o'clock.
We ready? Board Member Russell?
Okay, we will call this meeting to order of the Venus Community Service Development Corporation at 7 o'clock. We're looking at two things, the budget, proposed budget for the 2016-2017 year, and then there's a couple of items that is being proposed for 4B money to be used in this year's budget.
Mr. Russell, maybe roll call. Is that
Okay.
Board Member Russell?
Here.
Board Member Burgess?
Present.
Board Member Davy?
Present.
Board Member Scott?
Present.
Board Member Hernandez?
Present.
Board Member Todd? Here.
Okay, let's look at the proposed budget for 2016-2017. That's quick. Okay. Sorry.
We gotta approve the minutes.
Okay. All right. Approval of the minutes of the August 22nd, 2016.
Need some?
I didn't get one.
You did? They're not on there?
If they are, I don't see them.
They should be together. I'll do that.
I got a copy of this, yeah.
Okay. I got it. I'm good. What was it under?
Oh, here.
It's under official, under August for official minutes for, because it's kind of abbreviated, it's hard to find.
They don't say mouth, but didn't stand forward.
Yeah. Sorry, man.
Okay.
I think we're all on the same page now.
My bad. Okay. Start down to approve the minutes, yes.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the July 11, 2016 regular.
I'll take it. Approve the minutes of the workshop. Yeah.
That's not what mine is, but anyway, that's what we're going through.
Okay, which that, I wasn't here, we had a school board meeting that night, so that's what Shelley presented over. Okay, we have a motion and a second that we approve those minutes. Do we have any discussion? Okay, if not, all in favor, raise your hand. All in favor, none opposed, motion carried. Okay, item 3, adopt the budget for the 2016-2017 year. You have a copy of that. You have 2014-2015, 2015-2016, and then the proposed budget for this year. So do we have any questions on that? The only question that I had was down at the bottom on the transfers in and out, and it was explained that that is the 4Bs, half of the utility vehicle and the tractor, which will be used for the park. The rest of it is pretty much in line with what we've had in the last years. Any questions? Okay, if not, do I have a motion that we approve the 2016-2017 budget?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Hernandez. Over to you.
Make a motion, we pass the, approve the 2016.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. Last chance for discussion. Okay, all in favor of the motion, raise your hand. All in favor, none opposed, motion carried. Okay, I guess the tax rate is set by law, so do we need to approve that?
No, the city council will approve that, but we're not doing that this session.
Okay, so we don't have any discretion over that. All right. Anything else on the budget? Or
No, sir.
okay, if you would look at your other handout here, there's a couple of items, item 4 and item 5, that we are looking at. There was some unspent money in this year's budget. We've had a proposal to use $3,550 for engineering survey to address drainage issues on the town square And item 5 is approval of $35,000 to address town square drainage issues, basically road repair. We're open for discussion on that.
Basically, our Public Works Director, Caesar Roca, has talked to a city engineer about developing a plan to prevent the pumping of water in Town Square. Town Square is the hallmark of our city and our economic development, and so we've been approached by a 4B attorney that said we could use those funds to repair the road work and basically increase economic development of our Town Square. So Caesar contacted an engineer and got the quote to do a study on what would be required to fix the drainage issues. And all of you know when it rains, there'll be a large puddle out front of the north part of the square for 4 or 5 or 6 days, and it's not draining properly. They're really affecting our economic development. Caesar believes that an engineer will do recommendations of up to $35,000 on fixing Town Square where it drains properly back down into 157's drainage ditch and out of our square.
But this $35,000, would it be just for the drainage, or would it actually also, do you believe, would cover the actual road work too?
It should cover the road work.
Yeah, it should cover the road, the work from Walnut Street all the way to Main. And,
I know you ain't done the study, but do you have any idea what they might have to do for the underground drainage?
no, they're not gonna be able, because that, the drainage from TxDOT, it's too high up. If they go with underground, like the storm drainage, the pipe is gonna be above ground here on this end. So, the water is gonna have to drain on top of the road the way it is, so. But it'll be something that they wanna propose something, either we go with concrete or we go with real thick asphalt in there, so we just need to get it approved so we can see what they can do. It's gonna be, a number, that we come up with is about $35,000. It might not take that much, but, if we can do a little bit more of dressing up around the square with seal, seal coat, some of those cracks is getting bigger and bigger every year, and especially on the north side of the section that we repaired 6 years ago. Underneath there is concrete, and we never took that out because it was going to be very costly to get all the squares down the way we did around the main part of the square, on the inside. So $35,000, I believe it's going to be probably enough money to do that. And like I said, we can choose, we can go concrete or we can do asphalt.
And the unused portion of the 4B money so far this year is $52,000, and 4B also has $107,000 in there.
Well, I do not have a problem, and I think we can justify 4B money without any problems on the engineering survey. When 4B was set up, it was set up basically for building and maintenance of the Civic Center and parks. And I think the engineering survey, because we've got the money set aside for Shannon's Park over there in front of the Civic Center, we'll get something done on that this year. We've been promising for the last 2 years, haven't done anything, so I think we can tie an engineering survey into that. But the $30,000 to fix streets in front of the businesses, I think that's stretching 4B money a little bit from what it was originally intended. So, my personal opinion.
I know we've used 4B in the past for help beautify the square, and it is part of our downtown attraction, and that looks really bad, but I know 4B was intended originally for the Civic Center, but we paid it all, and there's a lot of work to be done in the park, but people see the square long before they see the park, so we're trying to revitalize downtown. what, you know, 4B is for, is to try to encourage more business. And it's gonna be hard whenever streets are crumbling right there in the downtown area. So, you know, it's certainly a majority decision, but I'd like to see us fix it.
We've got money out of the 4B to put an interior sidewalk around the square. I think that's very justifiable. Where do you stop using 4B money? You say it's okay to put it around use it for patching streets around the square. Where do you stop it? Well,
Wherever the majority wants to stop. I mean, I went to that economic development seminar down in Waco, and they basically, the TML and the Attorney General people were down there, and they gave many examples of what cities were using the 4B money for. Building buildings, sidewalks, street repair in downtown areas, revitalize downtown, lights, all kinds of things that they would justify it for. So it's basically, you know, what the majority of the board believes it should be used for. So it's up to the board.
And we have used the 4B money to put the lights around the square, and I think that's very justifiable. I just have a problem with using 4B money to patch streets. I think that's a city.
I have a problem with it also.
I think that's a city function.
I think there's enough things that we need to do with the park. We need to paint the side of the civic center. The aesthetics of that alone would help. You know, there's plenty of things that we can use this money for at this point in time. Instead of patching that street, you know. How's the city employees and everybody's gonna look at that? Got enough money to patch streets and can't even give us a cost of living raise?
Okay, well,
That's kind of rough.
I believe that would be illegal to give them cost of living raise to 4B board.
I didn't say it was legal. I didn't say it was legal, I'm just saying.
I know, but it's just a totally different account, you know, and legalities would prevent that. Now, we can't use it down at the park, we can fix the side of the civic center, if we can ever figure out what problem in the field.
Okay, well, we've got two items here. Number 4 is discuss and consider approval of an expenditure of approximately $3,550 for an engineering survey to address the drainage issues on the town square using 4B board money.
I certainly don't believe we should do the engineering study if we're not going to finance the results of the study. I mean, that would just be a waste of an engineering study if we're not going to finance it. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Well, I'm not saying don't finance it, I'm saying don't take it all out of 4B money.
Well, this year, there's no other place to take it, so it ain't going to happen this year. So there's no sense doing the study this year if we're not going to fix it.
How fast does it get right there when it rains? Not when it pours rain a week, but, you know, a day or two.
When we have a couple of days of rain, you know, just a couple of days of rain, there's I guess it's like a French drain underneath that building on this side here. And it takes a couple of days for that water to drain completely and to stop draining. And what's happening is this ground settles so much in some places that literally is pulling the asphalt and everything down. That's what the pool is. So once you have that water in there, it work its way through and it's softened underneath the subgrade of the road. That's why it takes 2 or 3 days when the rain is probably a couple of inches. But if it rains like we experienced in this past 2 years, it takes 2 to 3 weeks to get the water out of there. And of course, you know, it's not going to rain 2 weeks in a row and then it stops in a month. And then you get another rain and, you know, that thing keeps coming on. It stays running. You know. Right over there.
Okay, I guess the floor would be open for a motion to approve use of 4B money of approximately $35,000 to do an engineering survey and fix city streets. 35,000 if you want that all together. According to what Cedar said.
I didn't know you kind of both of
Well, I mean, it was your opinion, we don't know about the other. Do we have a motion? Okay, I guess that dies for lack of a motion. So, anything else under the 4B meeting? Okay, if not, we'll adjourn the meeting at 7:18.
that affect our community. We ask you to be with our first responders, police, fire, and EMS. We ask you to be with our men and women of the armed services. We ask all this in your son's name, Jesus Christ. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And will you do roll call for me?
Mayor Burgess,
Present.
Mayor Griffin Davis,
Present.
Councilmember Brayback, present. Councilmember Scott, present. Councilmember Hernandez.
Present.
Announcements and presentations. Cell phones will be turned off, place on vibrate, silent only. No conversations or comments from the audience are permitted unless specifically called upon by the mayor. Please remain respectfully quiet. I have a proclamation tonight. Venice Police Department is hosting an event on October 1st, 2016, entitled Venus Neighborhood Night Out. This event helps unite and educate the citizens of Venus about crime prevention and reducing violence in our community. Whereas Venus Neighborhood Night Out provides a unique opportunity for the city of Venus community to connect with the law enforcement and firefighters in promoting cooperative crime prevention efforts, and whereas it is entitled that all citizens of Venus be informed about the importance of crime prevention programs and the impact their participation can have on reducing crime, drug use, and violence in Venus. And whereas police and firefighters as a community partnership, neighborhood safety, awareness, and cooperation are important themes of the Venus Neighborhood Night Out event. Now, therefore, I, James Burgess, Mayor of the City of Venus, do hereby call upon all citizens of Venus to join with the Venus Neighborhood Night Out, October 3rd, 2016, in support of your police, firefighters, and neighbors in promoting crime prevention throughout the City of Venus. I believe the chief has a couple of things you want to say about this.
Yes, we've been really excited about this event. You know, last year we did our first Venus Night Out, and we had 2 neighborhood locations, and we relocated it to Fielder Park on Saturday, October 1st from 5:30 to 7:30. We reached out to the school district. There's going to be multiple law enforcement agencies out there. We've had a couple of community volunteers. Lauren Perry, we just walked in, has really helped out with reaching out to businesses and trying to seek donations of different items for our citizens and be able to provide some food to those citizens who come out to the park. So we're excited about it. We hope there's a good turnout, and hopefully it'll be a good way to meet the firefighters and police officers in the community.
What time is it scheduled for?
It's at 5:30 p.m. on Saturday the 1st.
Saturday the 1st, about 30 p.m.
Make sure that you going in the bunch
Wait a minute. The firefighters, you can, Lord knows that you could. And I would like to say I was honored to be be a judge in the Alvarado Old Settlers Reunion Parade over in Alvarado this past Wednesday, and it honored first responders, and we had, I lost count how many fire trucks. I hope we didn't have a fire in Johnson County that day, because we were gonna have a problem, because they were Cleburne, of course, Alvarado, Bono, I mean, just on and on and on. Keene Fire Department was there, and I was very proud when I saw the Venus Fire Department go by, so, it was quite a showing to see all them trucks, and quite loud with all them sirens. So anyway, that was quite interesting. Then next we're gonna, have a recommendation of police promotion of James Groom. Chief?
Sure. Hey, James, why don't you come up? As you all know, when I moved to the city administrator position, Captain Groom was promoted to the rank of captain, and we just haven't had a formal ceremony to recognize his achievement. So what I want to do tonight was present his plaque on behalf of myself and council for his promotion to the rank of captain, and we appreciate your service.
Congratulations.
Thanks, sir.
Captain Groom. Moving along to the citizen public comment period. Do we have anybody sign up for public comment tonight?
Yes, we have Barbara Clopton, or is that from earlier? You know,
Ms.
okay.
Faulkner. Come forward, Ms. Faulkner. And I think you've been around enough, you know the rules, 5 minutes, you can't make any personal attacks on council or city employees. Besides that, floor is yours.
My name is Barbara Ann Clopton. I live at 810 South Highway, Highway 157, Venus, Texas. And I filed a complaint against the city to the Texas Board of Professional Engineers back in 2011. And I just got a letter back. And what I would like to do is give each council member, if I may, a copy of what they sent me from the Texas Board of Engineers.
Thank you. Gamble and then
That is John Benjamin.
Mr. Paul, please come forward. I know you've done this enough, I don't have to go through all the rules.
Right. May it please the council, my name is John Benjamin Clopton Jr. And tonight, let's see, I reside at 810 South FM 157 for the record, which is in the city's ETJ. I would like to talk to you all tonight about, it ties in with what Barbara, my wife, just gave you. We all had a complaint, several of us, back in January of 20. That. And one of the fellows was with us, I hadn't seen him in a while, but I think he still lives over in Meadow Ridge. The issue was very simple. Was the city required to employ an engineer? Okay. We finally got rulings that she handed out to you. And what I'm here is not to talk about that, but to talk about how I was slandered in a news release. Now, what I'd like to do, if I may, is hand out a copy of that news release. And it was sent to everybody's work. I'm, in all my life's work, I've never seen such a vicious news release, especially against me. May I hand those out to approach a copy?
Yes.
I'll keep within my 5 minutes.
I'll watch it. Go ahead.
Let me know, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I'll let you know when you got 30 seconds.
Okay, where I should vote. I and one other person were slandered, libeled, and defamed by the council then, and the city officers, most of whom are gone now. This particular news press release was sent to everybody's auditor. It went, made headline. This made the headline at one of the leading newspapers in Ellis County. It's hurt my reputation, but we just now have to have a ruling on it. The ruling is that we were not making we were accused of making a false complaint. And I won't mention the other man's name, it's in the news release. He's an old man like myself. Now, what I'd like to do, I think I have granted some suit for slander, but I don't pass the statute of limitations allowed. But I would like to kindly request, if you would, to send the Barbers a letter that shows that we were correct, that an engineer should have been employed. Just that simple. Just that simple. And I would just kindly request that that occur. And I'm going to see if I can get the newspaper to retract their headline. It's Ellis County Press in blue. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, sir. Moving along with the consent agenda, all matters listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the city council and will be enacted upon by one motion. There will not be separate discussions of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and it will be considered separately. Under the consent agenda, we have approval of the minutes of the August 8, 2016 budget workshop and regular city council meeting and the August 22nd, 2016 budget workshop, plus ratify the payment of bills for the month of August 2016. Is there any discussion or questions on these two items in the consent agenda? And the floor is open for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Motion made by Councilman Hernandez, second. Second by Councilwoman Scott. All in favor? All in favor, none opposed, motion carries. Items for individual consideration. First, we're going to have the presentation of the monthly department reports. We brought this up a little early tonight, so I think the chief, our chief has another meeting he needs to make. No?
I'm all yours.
Well, we can move it back down. I thought you had another meeting you had to make tonight. Well, okay, then we're going to stay with the order. We'll start with the police department report.
Captain Grove's going to be presenting.
Captain Green.
Evening, Council Mayor. As you can see in your handouts, we pretty much had increases across the board and everything except traffic accidents. It was a pretty heavy month with the transition, employment transitions for a couple of us. We've gotten a new hire, new sergeant on. We had a lot of training as well. And in our arrests, I think 3 of those were DWIs, so we're pretty heavy DWI wise for us with the Labor Day weekend. And we got new crash software, so that's good for the officers. It makes reporting those crashes a lot easier, a lot less mistakes go to the state, which we spend a lot less time fixing things And it's also easier for the citizens to get those requests to the city, thanks to that new software. Anything else?
The only thing I'd like to add is we are really excited. We hired a new sergeant with the police department. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to meet him. His name is Jason Gordon. He comes to us with over 17 years experience, most recently with Red Oak. Was a field training officer for Red Oak PD and received numerous awards over there. So we were very, very excited to be able to, what I call, steal him from another reputable agency. And so we're fully staffed as an agency for the first time in a long time, and hopefully we'll be able to remain that way. All of our officers are out of field training, so maybe for the first time in my time here, we're going to really be able to see what we can do with a full staff of people. So we're excited about that.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Evan.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Chief Allen,
Yes, sir.
your turn, buddy.
Thank you, appreciate it. As you can see from my report, last month we did run a couple fewer calls. We're down to 82 for the month. Continued with about 24 in the city, 53 outside of the city, and we gave mutual aid 55 times to different departments. Down on the second page, you can see our average response times. We're down to about a little under 4 minutes, whether it's an EMS call or a fire call, which is pretty good considering most of the time we respond from our house up to the station. From the time we get a call till the time we get a truck out the door, we're under 4 minutes on that. So for a volunteer department, we're doing pretty good. The division on our calls, we had 56 EMS calls and 26 were fire calls. Then also down at the bottom of my report, I put some contacts for CareFlight ambulance service. Starting, I think it was 2 weeks ago, they moved our ambulance out of Venus to somewhere else in the county. They were rearranging the ambulances. If anybody wanted to send an email or make a phone call to explain to them how it's kind of a detriment to our community and the citizens that we have over here, you're more than welcome to do it. Like I said, I put names and their positions and contact information on my report. It's still up in the air whether or not they're looking at rearranging. It's not set in stone where everybody's at right now. Right now, we only have 903 as the only ambulance on this side of 35, and it sits in El Dorado. So it covers everything on this side of 35.
I just seemed awful convenient whenever they were trying to get the contract and they wanted me to contact the county commissioners. They put one over here, and as soon as they get the new contract, it leaves.
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, there's a lot of upset fire officials in the county right now. So we'll see how it goes. I know it's on the agenda for a chief's meeting this weekend at ESPN.
I'll let them know my displeasure, including the county commissioners. I told them how happy I was that they put one over there. I'll let them know how unhappy I am.
You're welcome to contact county commissioners too if you want to do that. I didn't put their information in there, but.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Caesar, you're next, buddy.
Yes, sir. I put a note there on, I forgot to put something on my report. This past month was, most of the work was done on the streets. You know, we finished Walnut, those 3 little roads in Meadow Ridge, 1. We done some potholes over there by the school on the campus area. Posted 8 crossing signs for students over there. We've been working on Pine Street and 3rd. You know, we making it better to drive through, especially on Pine. There was no road there, and we got it going there. We did help code enforcement on picking up a lot of brush this month, and we got the city most or less, you know, free of brush for right now. So hopefully we can keep it like that. You know, folks bundle them up and put them on the trash, near the trash. That's on public works, and the water and sewer end. We changed several meters, 4 meters. We replaced a couple of submersible pumps over there on the lift station on Savannah Street. And we did our monthly flushing, you know, turn-offs, water and sewer. We're not going to be flowing them from after October, I'm hoping, but that's, I'm looking for that. I went to Austin to this water conference, and every time you go to those things, you just, you know, get scared over there because so many changes and water rules and stuff. But we managing Me and the chief went over there to DRA to meet with EPA in regards of sewer, overflowing sewers and stuff. We have to file this report, this checklist. Cities that belong to regional wastewater treatments, they wanna, I guess in some kind of a study that they doing, you know, through the different parts of the state. Nobody knows where we're going from this point because the EPA, you know, they want to be very restricted. They want to restrict a lot of things, and of course the state is just piling it on. So hopefully we don't. I'm hoping that we don't get fined, but you never can tell with those sewer overflows. But when you have 14 or 16 inches of rain, every rainy event, you cannot help it. Those pumps, they want to pump as much as they want to pump.
So, how many lift stations do we operate?
We got 13.
13 lift stations?
Yeah.
How many pumps going on?
It's a total of, we're supposed to have 26, but we got 25. We got one little bitty lift station. In 1807, by the prison that is way over there, closer to 213 than 214.
They could have a pump?
No, we only have one pump. It only has like one house, I think.
So, I've been getting the reports on the mosquito spraying, and I think over the last 2 years, we've only had one positive hit, and that was just one mosquito.
And, well, you know, I guess one on, they did probably about 30 samples through the couple of years, and only one West Nile. You know, that was over there in 214 in that area there.
So we still spraying?
Yes, we are. We've been having problems with that sprayer.
Again?
The past 2 weekends, yeah, we got a compressor and everything. And the thing is so old that, you know, everything rattles so much that things get loose, you know, and, wires come off and things like that. And by the time they notice, you know, the thing stopped spraying, so we have to work on it. You know, so we haven't sprayed in 2 weekends.
Good enough. Is that it?
That's it.
Thanks. Keaton, you're up next.
Over this month at the administration area, we published the fiscal year 2017 proposed budget and posted it online and everywhere we're required to. We continued financial entries into the Encode system in order to catch up to our compliance standards. We completed the general fund and water and sewer bank reconciliations through May of 2016. Our contract with CPA has done a really good job of reconciling our books and bringing us back up. Matter of fact, on last Friday, she had told me that she's now through June, so she's making good progress. We did city budget research and development for presentation and budget workshops. We worked with the developer of the Highway 67 Liquor Depot and the city engineer. He's already purchased building permits, so we're just waiting, I guess, on his contractor to start that construction project. And also we had our initial meeting, Caesar and I, with our city engineer on developing a master water and sewer plan. Currently, the city doesn't have a long-term water and sewer plan, and I know that's something the EPA is going to come in and require us to do, so we're trying to get a jump on that, and also be able to do a GIS map of all of our sewer systems, so when developers come in, like we recognize that with our school district, we can provide them with a good map of where all our sewer and water systems are. That's pretty much what we've been working on in the administrative area.
Have they started taking over out in Peak Water System, they started taking over the building yet? Or?
They're on to
October 1st.
All right, well, thank you, Chief. Moving along to number 3, present to council the fiscal year 2015 annual audit report conducted by Walter Waldman Associates, LLP. So this is our audit for the fiscal year 2015.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And normally this audit is presented to council in the February, early March timeframe. It's been somewhat delayed, and unfortunately the CPA official who completed this report is unable to be here tonight. But what we did is we provided the highlights in this packet to you. If you'll turn to page 5 of your booklets, the financial highlights are just 3 in part. I can give you really quickly. At the end of fiscal year 15, the assets of the city of Venus exceeded its liabilities at the close of the most recent fiscal year by $7,666,273 in net position. Of this amount, $362,713 unrestricted net position may be used to meet the government's ongoing obligations to citizens and creditors. Bullet point number 2, as of the close of the current fiscal year, the City of Venus governmental funds reported combined ending fund balances of $2,962,366. Approximately 87% of this, $2,578,260, is available for spending at the city's discretion as an unreserved fund balance. The City of Venus total debt obligations decreased by $254,106, or 9% during the fiscal year, and the city's debt position was improved dramatically. Our CPA on this account advised if the council has further questions after they look over this report and then that CPA come out next month, they would make themselves available for that.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions, comments from the council? Not, we'll move on to number 4, discuss and consider approval of an ordinance approving and adopting the budget for the City of Venus, Texas for the fiscal year of October 3rd, 2016 through September 30th, 2017, providing that expenditures for said fiscal year shall be made in accordance with the said budget and providing an effective date. So we're going to basically just approve the budget.
Yes, effective October 1st.
Effective October 1st, yes.
Mayor, this budget is something that we built through all of our budget workshops, and the format is the same numbers that all the council has provided through all those budget workshops with the recommendations you provided. It's narrowed down to basically these 6 pages, so we can post it online, which meets our compliance standards with best practices, but it's the same exact budget that we presented in these type of binders to you guys during our workshops.
We've had 2 workshops and a public hearing on this, so does the council have any questions or comments? So then the floor is open for a motion to approve the fiscal year 2016 through September 30th, 2017 budget.
Make the motion to approve the budget for the City of Venus for the fiscal year October 1st, 2016 through September 30th, 2017.
A motion by Councilwoman Trezak, second by Councilman Hernandez. All in favor? All in favor, none opposed, motion carries. Discussion and consider approval of an ordinance ratifying the vote to approve the budget for fiscal year 2016 through 2017 that will require raising more revenue from property tax than the previous year and providing for an effective date.
Mayor, no, basically, you're not approving the tax rate at this time. You're just acknowledging that our budget that was passed is going to raise money from property taxes.
It's going to generate more revenue than last year.
Correct.
And as we discussed in the hearing, some of that is going to come from increased property values from the county tax assessor. Some of that is going to come from increased properties coming onto the tax roll, whether it be house or business.
Correct.
So, any questions by council? Comments? The floor is open for a motion to ratify the 2016-2017 raising more revenue, to acknowledge that we're raising more revenue.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Councilman Hernandez, second.
Second.
Second by Councilwoman Trezak. All in favor? All in favor, none opposed, motion carries. Number 6, discuss and consider approval of request by the Venus Independent School District for a variance waiver the storm shelter requirement in the ICC 500, which will address storm shelter requirements associated with the educational occupancy for additions to the Venus Primary School and Venus Elementary School. Warner, or are you gonna talk to us, or?
I can just a little bit. I will check this out.
Come up here so we can. Are you the engineer?
I'm the architect.
Architect, yes, sir.
I'm an associate with WRA, and I'm the project manager on all of the 2016 bond projects for Venus ISD.
Okay. So,
Our request is based on a requirement in the 2015 International Building Code that requires educational occupancies with occupants over 50 to have a storm shelter that complies with the ICC 500 standard. The reason for our request is these two additions in particular are primarily classroom spaces. So there's been proven time and time again that windows in classrooms do help students learn and make for a better learning environment for students. And of course, the storm shelter does not allow you to use windows. We also have a project at the middle school where we have some program, mostly locker room spaces, where we can go ahead and do a shelter in that building that will house the entire occupancy of the entire middle school. That's another factor at the primary and elementary school. The shelters are only required to house the occupants of the additions. So we would be housing approximately 25% of the primary school students and staff, and about 20% of the elementary school students and staff. And then someone's in the very, very difficult position of trying to determine who gets to be in the shelter in case of an event.
So I guess what you're saying is, instead of trying to decide what 200 kids to save nobody? I mean, I'm sorry, I don't understand the concept here. Why can't we just build a hallway? You know, I know it may not be cheap, and I'm not trying to, belittle that, but I know up in Moore, a lot of times they'll build like a hallway that's a storm shelter where everybody can just get in and in, instead of trying to have just an individual room.
The code as it is written and how it's been interpreted by the city does not require that the building or the storm shelter house the entire occupancy of the building. Only the occupants of the addition.
So it's not retroactive to the whole building.
Not
just
currently,
the addition.
Correct.
Okay.
And the premium cost-wise to strengthen a structure to be able to do this is about an additional 150% of the cost to build. That would drastically limit what the school district is able to do in terms of getting rid of their portable buildings, getting all the kids into one secure building, and having enough space to teach all the kids with the big growth that's been happening here.
Anything else?
Did you have any questions?
Hang on, Chief, you have?
Our staff recommendations from Chief Allen, myself, and our city engineer is the ICC 500 requires the building to have a storm shelter if it occupies more than 50 students in that building. And we would, we provided them our city stance on that, so we would request that the variance not be granted to the school and that the city policy.
So was this in the building code we adopted or in the fire code?
It's the building codes.
Building code? Steve Allen, do you have any input on this? I mean, it deals with safety, the only reason I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, that's 20 less parents you have to notify on death or something that. I'd rather save some than none. It is a building code issue, not a fire code issue.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Can you confirm that the city has in fact adopted the 2015 International Building Code? This is a requirement of that building code. We were told early on in the process that we would be held to that standard, but as best we can tell, it hasn't actually been adopted as of right now. It's still 2009.
Steve?
I don't know when the last time, Cass, you don't know the last time we did.
I just looked it up on municode.com, and it says that our ordinance 395/2013 and 11/11/2013, we adopted the 2012 building code and any amendments of that. I believe that the ICC was an amendment of it that was referenced in the building code. And so in 2014, I think that would encompass our adoption of the 2013.
It's my understanding that that is not the case. We've been told that we would be held to the 2015 standard, and we've progressed thus far that way.
Okay. Council, question?
So what you're saying is in the middle school, so since we're doing, y'all were doing a big project in
Yes,
the
ma'am.
middle school, there will be a storm shelter big enough for the middle school campus.
Yes, so
correct?
the middle school, we're fortunate in that we have some program that's not just classrooms. We have some locker rooms that will serve the athletics department there. Those are typically built-in materials that we would build a shelter with anyway. And so we're proposing to go above and beyond the requirement at the middle school and to provide a shelter that will house the entire student and staff population at the middle school. Because we feel like we're going to be very limited by having to do that in these classroom spaces at the primary and elementary school.
So the variance you're asking for is just at the primary and elementary?
Yes, sir.
So my question is, if you're just doing classrooms in the primary and elementary, it's what I understand of reading everything on the iPad, someone is going to have to make a decision of what students would be going in that storm shelter.
Yes, ma'am. So at the primary school, you would have a total of 771 occupants, and the storm shelter would only be required to hold 289 occupants. At the elementary school, you'd have a total of 967 occupants, and the storm shelter would only be required to hold 161 occupants.
So someone, God forbid, if we did have some kind of tornado, whatever, someone is going to have to make a decision. If you got elementary 967, you're going to have 161 and whatever that figure was for primary, someone's going to have to make that decision. What students are going in that shelter, correct?
Yes, ma'am. It's a few years ago, there was an F2 tornado that hit the city of Forney. It hit one of our schools under construction. So luckily there weren't any children there when it happened, but the F2 was only managed to cause very minor cosmetic damage on the exterior of the building. We're certainly not saying that these buildings will stand up to a tornado, but they are very, very sturdy buildings.
Well, can I say something else?
Yes.
I see that we have the superintendent here, and one time we did have 3 board members here. May I ask what is the recommendation as far as the superintendent and board members?
Cool.
I think we're gonna have the variance. I wouldn't want to have juniors who goes in the building. And it's not big enough to hold everybody. Plus you have to cut out the windows in the classroom, which would be really bad for educational purposes.
Mr. Russell?
As a member of the school board, we authorized the architect to request this variance, so I'm in favor of the variance.
Dr. Warren?
We always want to provide a safe environment for our students. And in the situation at the elementary and the primary, we wouldn't be able to provide the same level of safety in all areas of the building, but just as Chance mentioned, the buildings, you know, with the adoption of the new code, there are some new guidelines, but as far as the overall safety of the buildings, they are a safe structure.
These are probably as safe of buildings or safer than any buildings in town. They are steel frame buildings, much safer as a general rule, as more safe than mobile homes, safer than probably stick-built houses. So I would rather have my kids or myself in one of the school buildings, even though it's not tornado-proof, than in my house. So.
May I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You guys, Dr. Moore, you have to understand the council's position here. Our engineer, the people involved, that work with everybody, this is a tough decision for them. If they don't put their foot down today and say that these standards, which have been adopted everywhere, that's IBC approved, right? What is the school district's plan to create and be compliant in the next 10 years, the next 15 years? What's the plan? If we don't do it now, when will we be compliant with the law?
I understand your position.
And above and beyond that, if we give the variance, I understand it's economic, it's more classrooms, which I know we desperately need. But heaven forbid if there's an F5 coming through here, and I know your buildings ain't gonna withstand that, and that too many buildings will. Heaven forbid a kid get hurt or killed, and we gave a variance, it'd be hard for me to sleep in there. I mean, it'd be tough, and I know they are going to retrofitting the building, or going and building a big structure in the middle or something. How are we gonna get everyone in there, but so we can't get everybody, we just lose everybody? I mean, I just don't, hard, it's a very tough decision, Scott.
It was put in place for a reason. You know, if we can save one child, we've saved one child. I understand it, you know, it's going to be a difficult decision. Who do you save? You save what you can save, and you hope for the best, and you pray to God that you do the right thing. But I can't, no.
Don't vote.
I'm not voting, I can't see why anybody would want to say, well, if we can't save everybody, let's just not save anybody.
And it's also economic, more classrooms.
I understand that.
But in how often does an F5 come through here? Never, I hope.
I hope never.
Ronald?
It's a tough one.
I got a lot of friends here and I got a lot of family here. And something like that happens, you know, I'm gonna feel bad. Because I myself voted against it, you know. So it'll be hard for me to try to look the other way or something like that. If y'all can come up with a plan to, yeah.
Some kind of alternative?
Yeah, then maybe we can focus on that and go that route.
I mean, does it have to be inside the building? Could it be adjacent, like a little hallway going into it? Does it have to be one of the classrooms?
It's the most cost-effective way to do it that way, because you're using area that you're already using. You're not building another building that doesn't get used for anything.
Except for that.
Right.
I got you.
And I know the building that we used to have for school, they pretty much put concrete walls and then poured concrete on top, and that was their basement down at the bottom. Yeah, we never used it, and it's scary going down there, because I used to go down in there to storage stuff, but, you know, I don't know exactly what
Like I said, I have no idea what the cost would be, but I've been told that some schools build the hallways with a tornado proof instead of a building, so if they come out of the rooms and go out into the hall, and that is, but I don't know, I'm not an engineer, I don't even know if that's possible, but I've heard of that, but, you know, I don't know, Mayor Pro Tem Manning? Okay. Yes, go ahead.
Where, I know we've had, in the past year, I know our siren has gone off for tornado warning. Where do the students go now? In the primary school, in the elementary school, where do the students go now? If it's during school hours and the tornado siren goes off, where do y'all direct the kids
Y'all
to
have
go now?
a tornado drill, whatever.
Yeah, we have a tornado drill.
We drill.
What do you do? Where
And
do you
there's
send them?
different spaces within the building, interior space, where we're limiting exposure to exterior walls and glass. So it's gonna be different based on where you're located in the building.
Anything else?
No, sir, I just would like for you guys to know this isn't a question we ask very easily either. This is a tough issue to handle, balancing all of these things. So we certainly appreciate
So
you
we've
guys.
had a really great working relationship with the school, and we want to help in any way we can to get as many classrooms and as many teachers and places for them to live here in town. This is hard. I mean, it's really hard when you're dealing with safety and safety of the children. And as the Chief Allen said, these were put in place for a reason, and to give a variance on a safety issue is really tough. It's hard, but council's got to make hard decisions sometimes, and this is one of them.
Is there any way that you as an architect can go back and maybe come back with some other, like Karen said, an option, hallway or something, instead of us just making a decision tonight on, okay, we're either gonna say,
Yes or no?
yeah, it's either gonna be yes or no. I would hate to know that I was a parent and my child was in the elementary school and there was a decision made that these students got to go in that storm shelter. Me as a parent, my question is gonna be,
Why didn't mine?
exactly, why did my child get to go in that storm
Either
shelter?
way, it's gonna hit.
It's right.
It's a
either
lose-lose
way.
situation.
That's what I'm thinking, is there any way that y'all can go back to the drawing board and try to figure out something instead of us making a decision tonight, either yes or no? You can see that we're all
Oh,
very
you was
concerned
talking about
about
this,
this.
in that, middle school, there was gonna be a locker room area that y'all could use.
Yes, sir.
Is there no gym, locker room, anything in the other two buildings?
Not in the addition portions that we're adding on to the buildings, and typically retrofitting is not an option. Correct.
I said, I'm not an architect, I don't know, it just sounded like a good idea for me.
And we're certainly open to investigating an alternate scenario.
I would
Suggest
I
that
would suggest, instead of us making a hard, crucial decision tonight, that y'all go back to the drawing board and see what you can come up with.
just anything that would
Anything.
satisfy these rules, and hopefully, even put more children in there. I don't know, but we just hope we could come up with some alternative.
I mean, it's not gonna hurt for y'all to go back and
At least try.
try.
Yeah,
And
Again, well, then,
bring back
then
something.
sooner or later, we're
else.
gonna have to make a hard decision, but if we could come up with some alternative that would meet the requirements and maybe, not be as destructive to your rooms, it would be, I think, something the council would prefer.
Certainly, we can do that.
So we'll just take no action on this tonight and hope for the best.
Okay, thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Number 7, discuss and consider approval of their the board replat of 401 West 5th Street, and his parcel number and ID number there. Is he here tonight?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Come forward, sir.
You know where he lives?
I believe so. I think he lives just south of me down
Martin
there.
Rose.
The-
Martin Rose.
Martin Rose?
Where he used to live, that's where.
Is that what the Griffins live too?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Where the Griffins live.
Okay.
That's where they.
Yeah, he's just south of me.
This is, you guys all have this on your iPad, but this is the larger version if you wanted to see. And this replat has been approved by our city engineer.
So are you wanting to make that lot 2 lots?
It's always been 2 lots.
But, yeah, okay.
It's never been platted too.
That's okay.
It's always been 2 lots, and, you know, when we bought the house and everything's financed through one, but we paid it all off. But to sell it, we went to the city back in, January, February, and they said it had to be replatted, got it done in March, and then come to find out we had to bring it before the city council, and didn't know that until the title company told us. And, like, we put the sign up, and it sold in 4 days.
Really?
But it's for an individual, you know, new home to be built.
I was gonna say, yeah, I was gonna ask that very question. Do you have an idea what they were gonna do with the property? They're gonna build a home?
Build a home.
So is it on, I know where your house is, and I know where your big shed thing is.
It's where the shed is.
Okay.
The shed goes with it.
Okay, the shed's in the back, it's gonna be all that front
Well,
From
the street.
From Mill Street all the way back.
Okay.
to where the
that lot's
shed is.
130 by 130. I think it may be 150 by 150. I know I added some to it.
Do you need to know where we're talking about?
Is that old Sun Martins?
No,
No,
it's the one
next-
south of Sun Martin's, just east of Sun
The
Martin's.
white brick house past Sun Martin's.
Where the Griffins
Where the
used to
big,
live.
where the
The
big
Grubbs
lot.
old house.
Grubbs
Marvin
old
and
house.
Bernie Scruggs' old house, and it was 8
When I grew up, it was the Griffins house.
And,
But anyway, I don't know.
I
We're giving
I
directions.
think we lived there 19 years.
yeah,
in 1940?
built a house.
I know where you're talking
Steve Don built
It's
a
right there where
house.
they used to park the covered wagons at. How about that? But it's, you know, it's my house and son's house, and then his house,
Yeah.
and then the lot just past his house.
It's right behind the,
Maintenance.
School maintenance.
School maintenance.
Yeah.
In fact, right next to the lot, the road that comes off of Hickory goes right there by the Joe and Judy Russell. It goes right into the maintenance, school maintenance yard.
There's a road through there.
Okay.
And you wanting to divide that property there?
He wants to replat it, you know, which would effectively, on the county roads, divided into 2 separate, parcels.
The lot is just one lot that's being sold. It's a single lot.
Because I was looking at Hickory Street going into the school, you know.
Look here, see, this is where I live, son, and then his lot, and then he also owns this lot, but it was on the road, it was just one big lot. He wants to replat it so he can sell his lot here, and,
This is our house.
yeah, their house here, and he has that barn over here, and he wants to replat it because somebody bought it and wants to build a house there. And now it's just a barn and open field. That'll give us another house on the back roads. Anybody else have any questions or discussion? And I'll approve the replat of 401 West Fifth Street.
Make a motion, we approve David Ford's replat of 401 West Street, parcel ID 9743.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Councilwoman Prezak, second by Mayor Pro Tem Dady. All in favor? All in favor, none opposed, motion carries. And you go back to the title company. Tell them you got it. Discuss and consider approval of an interlocal agreement with the city of Burleson for access to SunGuard public safety software and information. Keith?
Sorry about this.
That's all right.
Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Item number 8 is in reference to the OSSI computer system that the police department would like to move to. I know I've spoken to you guys about that several times over the last year, but we're finally able to move forward with that project. The server that's going to be housing that system is located in Burleson PD, and their city council has signed off on an interlocal agreement allowing us to use their server as opposed to spending thousands of dollars to buy our own server. So this is basically an interlocal agreement saying that we will have permission to use their server to store our reports and records.
All right, and any questions, comments? And I'll open the floor for a motion to approve the interlocal agreement with the city of Burleson for the SunGuard public safety software and information.
Make a motion, we approve the interlocal agreement with the city of Burleson for access to the SunGuard public safety software and information.
Motion made by Councilwoman Prezak, second. Second by Councilwoman Scott, all in favor? All in favor, none opposed, motion carries. Number 9, discuss and consider a rental reduction for the Civic Center restrooms through the Venus Chamber of Commerce Antique Alley September event. That would be you.
We're asking for a reduction in the rent because normally what we do is we go out and we rent the porta potties. And the porta potties last year cost a total of $400 and some odd dollars, and we have it with the city. We pay $250 of that. So we're thinking that maybe if we open up the Civic Center restrooms, that's going to save the city money, and it's also going to save us money, and the city can benefit from that.
Okay, this is going to be on the weekend of?
Antique Alley this coming weekend.
This coming weekend. Do we have any rentals that we know of this weekend?
Last time I checked with Marlo, we did not.
We did not? Okay, I just want to make sure we wasn't approving something that was going to be in conflict with something we've already booked.
And this is a kind of a, when we cut back corners, we've been cutting every corner over there to save money, but when the city has restrooms that are available to the public, and we don't have to spend even $250 or so to get restrooms for an event that benefits the city overall, bringing new customers into our businesses and things. I would fully support this decision, and if we can save $250 wherever we can save it, that certainly helps our budget.
Well, there's a lot of people coming through with Antique Alley. I just want to make sure that who's going to be responsible for unlocking it at the beginning of the day and locking it at the end of the activity. And make sure that we're not going to give them access to any other part besides just the hallway and bathroom. That's all I got. You have any other questions?
Good thing about it, also, they need to use the restroom, they can go to Whataburger, another gas station, and they can buy them.
Always trying to get that extra sales tax in. Okay, well, there's no further questions or comments. I'll open the floor to a motion to approve the reduction rental for the Chamber of Commerce for the Civic Center restroom for Antique Alley.
So, let me give a clarification. When we're talking about a rental reduction, are we talking about waiving the,
It's up to the motion. You can go do anything from $25 to zero to.
what,
I would recommend zero. You know, the city and the chamber are really going to be trying to work on that partnership to increase our productivity and getting to economic development. So I think it's a good faith effort for the city to, and if the bathrooms are there, the plumbing issues that maybe cost calls before have been rectified, situated, so if they'll monitor those restrooms throughout the day, it work out great.
Anything else? I do know that we had some issues at one time with the bathrooms not flushing properly, but it was because we had a half-inch line feeding all those restrooms. And then Caesar and his crew did increase that dramatically. I think a 2-inch line now, so hopefully those issues have been solved. Plus, if it does flood, we got concrete floors. But anyway. So if there's no further questions, floor is open for a motion.
I make a motion, we consider the rental reduction of the Civic Center restaurant in Tempe Chamber for Antique Alley at price of $0.
Have a motion by Councilwoman Prezak, second. Second by Councilman Hernandez, all in favor? Opposed? Abstained? I'll get to that. We have 3 for, none opposed, 1 abstention, Scott. Thank you.
Thank you.
Discussion and consider a rental reduction for the civic center for the Johnson County election for October 24, 2016 through November 4, 2016. I believe this is for the presidential election.
Yeah, this is for our presidential and national election. We were contacted by Johnson County. They had said they were contacted by a number of Venus residents who had to leave Venus to early vote. What they would like to do is consider putting an early voting location at our civic center so our citizens have the opportunity to vote in the national election. Again, I think this is an important civic duty, and any opportunity we can provide our citizens to make those votes are important. So staff fully recommends waiving the fee so Johnson County can have that early voting moment.
So, to our knowledge, there's nobody rented during that.
Correct. It has not been rented for that period.
And it also would be a really good opportunity for the city of Venus to build some bridges with the Johnson County Elections Office. We've had some dust ups in the last few years, and it'd be a good way for us to build some goodwill, which we should do.
Did we burn the bridge?
I don't want to go into details, but yes.
What did you do this?
I do it.
Okay.
But anytime we have an opportunity with other other agencies or otherwise, we really should make an effort
trying to
do
throw
good.
you under the bus. Yeah, I know there's been several elections that I usually only vote because I never know if I'm gonna be in town on election day, so, and I had to go all the way out to Rendon to the county commissioners, barn out there to hurry vote several times. That's more convenient here in town, so I also recommend that we allow this and you can get used to the civic center and make some goodwill towards the burnt bridge. Any questions or comments? The floor is open for a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the Civic Center at zero cost for Johnson County election for October the 24th through November the 4th, 2016.
Have a motion made by Councilman Hernandez, second. Second by Councilwoman Scott, all in favor? Opposed? None. All in favor, none opposed? Motion carries. This Mayor Pro Tem, get it up on discussion and possible action to adopt ordinance 437/2016, an ordinance of the City of Venus, City Council of the City of Venus, Texas, adding Article 6, residential rental property restrictions and inspections, etc., 8 building and building regulations of the Venus Code of Ordinances to provide for restoration and inspection of residential rental properties within the city, and amending Article 2, Technical Code, Section 8-19 to limit the applicability of the section to Article 2 and to raise the maximum fine from 1,000 to 2,000, order and publication confirmation, Open Meetings Act compliance, providing a severability clause, providing an appellate clause, and providing an effective date. Chief, go explain all that I just read from there.
Absolutely. Over the past, I would say, year, we've been running into a number of rental properties who are in dilapidated building conditions, and a number of them were occupied by residents of our community. Naturally, when we discover these problems, such as sewer not working in a house for a number of months, or a structure cracking on a family, we go in and we try to do what we can to condemn that building. However, there's a number of buildings that we don't know about, and so we've approached our city attorney several times about what we can do about this, and we appreciate him doing research and coming up with this ordinance. But basically what this allows us to do is, if you're going to rent a property in the city of Venus, you come in and pay a registration fee. It's a very reasonable fee. I believe it's $10. And once you register that property, it gives us the ability to inspect it before you find a renter to move in and make sure it's up for our building codes. And then after 1 year's time, we are able to go back in and make sure that it's still in compliance with our building codes. There are several individuals I had hoped would maybe come during the open comment section that this has affected dramatically. And what we're trying to prevent is slumlords buying houses in our community and renting them to people in our population and not providing an adequate space to live in a good environment. So we really are supportive of this ordinance, and I think Cass has done a really good job of drafting and making it fair for the community and also fair for the renters, and not putting too much of a burden on the landlord, other than making sure the property meets our codes.
Questions or comments?
Council, this is not, the policy behind this is for us to build communication with the landowners by having their current information, their emails, their phone numbers, and also having local contacts, because a lot of our problem is just finding who owns it, finding where they are in the rest of the United States. We surprisingly have a lot of property owners that don't live locally, and so we created a local contact provision that if you're out of the state or you're out of the area, that there is a person here that the city can call and say, hey, we've got a problem with this property. But the design of this is to build that communication with those owners. The cities that have done this found it was incredible that they found out that there'd be like only a few landlords and they owned a majority of the rental properties. And so building that relationship with those people, knowing where their properties are, knowing, for instance, if one landlord is consistently having the same problem with code, we can track that and find out who those people are, and then we can base our enforcement based on that. The other thing to note too is that it also gives power to people that rent. People that rent, and particularly are paying less rent than probably market would bear for that property, are sometimes living in very bad conditions. Little children running around in a place that has no water, has holes in the floor where kids could get injured, electrical wires that are exposed. And so this allows the renter to actually contact the city and say, hey, I'm living in this property and we don't think it's safe to live in. We're paying our rent every month, but the landlord refuses to make the repairs. It gives the city a mechanism to go in and search that and do an inspection. It also gives the police, say that we have a domestic call, there's abuse in the home with children or something like that. We go into the home and we look around and we go, oh, kids should not be living here. We have an opportunity then to use our rental ordinance to go enforce that and do an inspection. So it just gives the city a little bit more power to protect the people that live in those situations. And the cities that have done it, it's worked really well. The questions I have for you from a policy perspective are that some cities charge the fee, and they usually charge each year $25. We reduced ours. We thought it was smarter to just do $10. Chief, does that cover our? I think that.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Some cities have just done away with the fee. I don't know. It's up to you guys what y'all want to do. We can change that. And the last thing is that I put in a provision that other cities have not put in that requires an inspection when the property becomes vacant. Because I thought that that'd be an ideal time to go in and do an inspection is between. So if a property is constantly having people move in and move out, move in and move out, it gives us an opportunity to go in and say why, and go in and look at that vacant property and do an inspection.
Would there be a $10 charge every time you do an inspection?
No, inspection and registration, there's two chunks of the ordinance. The registration is where the fee is. The inspection part is a separate part. And we set up the inspection where it's not a building inspector or somebody that would charge a ton of money to go do the inspection. We just had it be our code officer to go in and look, and we're just looking for basic, like, livability, you know? You go in and you're like, there's no water in this house, or there's a huge sewage leak, you know, that's pouring through the living room. Things like that, big things. We're not talking about little bitty things like we don't like your trim, or, you know, we're not there to enforce. Don't worry, Mary, we're not coming to your house. But in any place that there's a serious health and safety issue that we can observe. But no, there's not a beach.
My dogs don't like lawyers, so please don't. Okay, council, y'all have any questions?
And the other chunk of it was, I had it start in November. Is that too soon, Chief, or is that good?
I think we can roll with that.
November
1st is good.
I thought maybe we could, in water bills, send something out notifying people for the, wait, it's not peak hour now.
Yeah, I don't know, if we're gonna be restricted on who we met with water bills, but we can notify our community, we can definitely get that.
Like Facebook,
Our website.
and then have the landowners, have them start complying by November 1.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yes.
And I think we have the forms created and have them on the website, make it super easy for people, and then have it up and running by November 1. And I think it'd be cool, because we'll know who the people are own all the properties, and we can see those fluctuations.
Anything else?
And this inspection is yearly, or?
It's invoked by somebody making a complaint. So we can go in if there's a complaint, administrative work from our judge. It can be because it's vacant, meaning that they've got between tenants. And then it also can be if they've never ever rented the property before. It's the beginning. They have a home that they're about to rent. They register, we go do the inspection.
It's also yearly, even if they're not in between tenants, right?
Yes, if there's a problem and the city sees a problem, then yes, they can go in once a year. But they won't. We won't have the manpower to do that.
So we're not gonna go once a year no matter what?
No. This is triggered. It's a triggering ordinance, and it's designed that way, where if there's a problem and we know about it, we go in. But no, it'd be silly. We would literally not have enough staff or time to go do that. And we kind of already know. We kind of already know what properties are we're going to get the complaints on. We already know the ballgame. You guys already know.
So what triggers the $10? Not that it's gonna make a difference.
Again, Mayor, the registration part, that they identify who they are and where the property is, that's every year they register and they pay the $10. The inspection is invoked by problems, complaints, vacancy, or beginning.
Thank you. Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, and when is the fine issued to them? You know, as soon as they walk in, hey, there's a problem, they get a fine, or
Absolutely
they get a warning, hey, this is what you need to fix. Then come back later and see if they fixed it.
That's a good question. It goes where if we go in and do an inspection, we give them a preliminary report of here are the issues, and then they're given time to fix those. There's not a citation issued at the inception of that inspection. That's important because it gives them time to comply. If they comply or they come back to the city with a plan, they're like, hey, we're going to fix this and this and this, and our code officer is confident with that, then that ends the inquiry, right? We go see if it's compliant and we're done. If they don't, like the landlord says, you know, we're sorry there's sewage in the living room and there's little kids playing in there, we don't really care, we're not going to do anything about it, then citations go.
Yeah, because see, if there's a light plug missing off the wall or something, now we got an electrical problem. But then the code enforcer come in, then he says, wait a minute, now to get this house up to code,